Rob Cross in his semi-final victory. Brilliant 9-dart finish from him. Catch that on the PDC YouTube channels and on social media. He beat Mensah Suljovic with 110 average to set up this tie against James Wade. It's Rob Cross's first final on the floor for more than 2 years. Can he get all the way over the line? Can he cross the line indeed? A man who knows all about crossing the line on the floor, Paul Nicholson, joins me, Chris Murphy, to talk you through this final.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. It's privileged to see that 9-darter on the other stream board. It was a great showing of precision from Rob Cross. But now he's got to be precise and mentally astute against
outside Sir
James Wade, who has been here many, many times before, more than Rob. And we can't underestimate what James did in the last match against Ian White. He's not noted for massive averages, but that was a very good performance and a great last leg.
Yeah, James Wade really did get the job done against White. It was a match in which he was broken in the very first leg of the match, but he hit back with a crucial 158 checkout to break back, and then just kept himself in front of White and produced a fabulous last leg. Out in 4 visits to seal the deal.
95.
I mentioned that James is not the kind of player that goes out there and puts in big averages, but he has outperformed Rob Cross in the averages today. 100.5 for the day for James. 98.92 for Rob before this leg began. So ominous signs, not just for this game here, but 58. Maybe for tomorrow and for the World Match Play for the former Match Play champion.
The last meetings came in the Premier League. In fact, the last 3 meetings came in last year's Premier League. One each in the league stage. In fact, the one that James Wade inflicted over Rob Cross in Leeds at the end of last year saw Michael van Gerwen crowned as the table topper,
100.
denying Rob Cross that honour and the extra bonus money that goes with it. But Cross got his revenge in the semi-finals at the O2.
Treble 18.
92.
He will never look at the bullseye on that shot, but he likes the 36. Wade does not get a shot at the 140, which was earlier taken out by Daryl Gurney on this board. Cross to steal in early March. It's low in the 20. That's a good sign, because he's got plenty of room over the top of that dart.
58.
Just short.
James Wade is rarely short. On tops, no 10s.
Game
he finds one of them, as he invariably does when left with that equation, and leads 1-0 in the final.
I've said this one before, but I'm going to say it again. James plays the game in an almost boring fashion, because he only has plan A.
140.
Plan A is leave tops or 10s or 12s. And that's all he does, which makes it even more astounding that he finished the last match on double 8.
59.
It's one of the reasons they call him the machine. He never deviates from the plan that has worked
140
for the last 15 years.
Yeah, he is one of the most decorated players in this sport. Has 35 titles to his name. Rob Cross in what is still a
111.
A reasonably fledgling professional career, the world number 4, who had the fairy tale victory at the World Championship. He's looking for his 10th title today.
100.
You could list all of those titles that James has had, but Rob has one that James doesn't. And that's the huge question mark around
90.
Brand Wade, isn't it? As to whether he will get one. Because that opportunity in 2012 was enormous. This is an opportunity at the Bull.
96.
Almost 2-0.
Yeah, moved it. visibly shook the bullseye. Rob Cross looking downstairs. Well, that's a happy accident for him because it means he can take a visit to his favourite treble. And he plants it in. The trademark pause.
Game shot.
And the usual outcome.
You said it, Murph. Serendipity right there, because he wanted the 57, and by getting the single 7, it left him a treble that would set up a leg-winning shot. That treble 18 is Rob Cross's postcode. Maybe that's the catalyst for this final, which will be first to 8, remember.
Yeah, the first maximum of it.
139.
Takes Rob Cross's tally for the afternoon to 18 180s.
We
were hoping it was going to be 19, so he'd go on that 141 again, which we now know through multiple efforts today he will go
94.
treble 19 first, then the treble 16 for double 18.
Yeah, it's the whole 18 segment that Rob Cross likes, isn't it? The double 18 is his go-to double. And it's quite interesting because unlike James Wade, who will always go for double top and double 10 if he can, Rob Cross won't always leave double 18, but he'll leave it when he thinks he needs to bail himself out of trouble.
88.
Everybody's got a section of the board that they prefer. But if you've got the talent these guys have, they can hit anything they want. Double 8. For an immense break of throw.
$60.
I get the feeling that first dart wasn't thrown purely. You can't leave Wadey on tops.
Game
That's
shot.
double 10 again. Chance missed for Cross.
Yep, twice James Wade has been left with 40. Twice he's finished on double 10.
100.
Rob Cross missing that opportunity. Wade's afternoon began with a victory against Mike van
60.
Duivenbode before seeing off Harold Leitinger, Jeffrey Desvan, Nathan Aspinall, and then a 6-0 whitewash against Michael Smith before seeing off Ian White in the semi-finals.
100.
Here's a question for you, Murph. If Rob Cross was on bullseye, which subject would you pick for him?
Is there a subject
100.
about how to hit treble 18?
Well, you'd go top right, wouldn't you? What was top right?
I'll have to cast my mind back to before I was born.
96.
Nice reply. Just telling me how old I am.
Well, both of the players are
No, I just didn't write.
quite handy with their hands. James Wade, a mechanic. Rob Cross, an electrician. I don't know what's happening here.
You got 96 in your last score.
Well, James Wade questioning something. The match official, Owen Binks, puzzled. I think there was a wrong score for James Wade put in the previous visit. James Wade not happy about it. It has been
55.
mentioned and sorted out. Still a puzzled look on the face of both James Wade and the official. Did you spot what went on there, Paul?
I think
97.
it was just a question over possibly a wrong score, but James was burning a hole in the back of Owen Binks there.
60.
And he was right, I'm being told. James Wade, the marker, had just input the score wrong, and James Wade knew exactly where he should be, and that's not where he was. Rob Cross knows where he is. And he knows where that is.
Centralising that shot. And that's why the 108 combination on 19s and the double 16 has become very, very
140.
popular. The first time I ever saw that combination, funny enough, was against James Wade. In the Grand Slam, was hit against him by Kevin McDine.
40.
And It was a bit of an education for me, that shot, and has become very, very popular since.
60.
Couple of interesting results for Rob Cross today, namely the second round win against Lisa Ashton, because that highlights the fact that Lisa got her first
99.
win at the Summer Series today, beating Adam Hunt for the second time this year, in fact. And Callan Ridds, in the middle of a run of games where Rob Cross had to come through last leg
85.
deciders, Danny Noppert, Callan Ridds and Jamie Hughes all took Rob Cross to an 11th leg, and he came from behind in those matches as well.
Yeah, Callan Ridds had Rob Cross
100.
in a great position. But when Callan Ridds had 136 and did not convert that in 6 darts, that was the chance he had.
100.
But Callan Ridds never got a match dart.
It was a great escape from Rob Cross, who was 5-2 down in that match.
98.
The advantage of throw is proving to be very key here. We may need something like this 164 to separate them. .54 first. Well, there's 4 of them.
84.
Don't expect James to miss things like this.
Game
Breath was
shot.
held, and 56 is converted for 3-2. And close finals is pretty much what we've done this week. The first 2 went all the way to
100.
leg number 15.
We have had
100.
fantastic matches at this Summer Series. The first final between Peter Wright and Michael van Gerwen was absolutely superb, and it really set
81.
the precedent of what was to follow here. We have 1 day left, of course. The Summer Series ends on Sunday. Be sure to join us from 12 p.m. tomorrow.
95.
What's been your favourite so far, Murphy? You've got a plethora of things to choose from.
Yeah, I think the final between Wright and Van Gerwen is right up there. Of course, Ryan Joyce winning his first title. A key
100.
moment. But in terms of individual matches, I think there have been a couple of standout ones. Certainly the one between
98.
Martijn Kleermaker and Luke Humphries today. That match is available on the PDC YouTube channel in its entirety.
Watch it. Just watch it.
And also Devon Peterson against Daryl Gurney earlier today was fantastic as well.
91.
I think there was a game on the outside boards as well between Danny Noppert and... I'm trying to think who it was. But Danny averaged 109 and lost.
100.
But that was pretty useful. Well, Cross has got to go for a shot that he hit in the previous match. He got the 57 that time for 2 double 18s. This time it's just a bit trickier. And that one does not
62.
help. He can't leave Wade on these 1-0-something checkouts because it's 1 treble. There is that treble. Big
Bang
moment.
shot.
Only 1 good dart for me in that combination because the other 2 were nowhere near their targets. He was going for the middle, but it came out of the chute a little bit hot, but who cares when it goes in the right bed, eh?
Well, it was an impressive recovery from James Wade. That was almost a switch to the treble 20 after
99.
the first start was completely overpitched by the machine. But he pitched the second one perfectly and by hook or by crook found the double 14 and now finds himself 4-2 ahead after another break of throw. Speaking of special moments, the Rob Cross 9-darter, of course, the standout leg of this Summer Series, but it would be nice for him to
60.
back it up with a title. 1 leg, as the top players so often say, doesn't mean a thing.
If you look at the celebration of Rob Cross when he hit the 9,
100.
he didn't show any emotion. He wants the title, he wants the win. Wants to stop that, I could call it a drought really, of 2 years without a
140.
Players' Championship title in the bank.
Yeah, and he's not had a great summer series until today. He reached the last 16 on day one. No shame in losing to Peter Wright
41.
at that stage, but was beaten in the second round by Jason Lowe on Thursday and lost out in the last leg decider to Mickey Mantle in round one yesterday.
162.
Excellent setup shot from James Wade.
I'd like to say that James is turning the screw, but the right vernacular here for James is he's got the
140.
wrench out and he's starting to turn it.
Game shot.
Yeah, really tightening his grip on this tournament and closing in on the title, James Wade.
$135.
Two guys who will be at the World Match Play at this venue. Two guys who have won the title before at its permanent home in Blackpool.
100.
Yeah, it will be a title defence for Rob Cross, of course. Must be strange to defend a title in a different venue, Paul.
I wouldn't know when I won it perfectly. I didn't actually get to the
140.
tournament the next year.
I didn't mean to open up old wounds.
That's fine. I actually got to 33rd in the order of merit for the following year
45.
and had to be in the top 32. So, my fault. But it would have been in Doncaster as opposed to at Purfleet.
Yes, the event that was won
59.
by Kevin Painter, I believe.
That was 2 years later.
Or was it 2 years
Yeah,
later?
it was the one that came after mine was Phil Taylor and Gary Anderson in a last leg
100.
shootout in the final.
Yeah, you were the unfortunate that had the year when there was two Players' Championship finals.
81.
Remain the only big TV winner to have not participated in the Premier League.
Yep, that's correct.
100.
Rob Cross needs this. Needs to start a charge, and he's trying to do exactly what he's done in previous games. He's got to start winning from behind. 7-7, very aggressive.
Yeah, great dart. Thought he might have been tempted by the double 18 there.
72.
This will be a bone cruncher. That one is central. That one is perfectly positioned.
Game
And
shot.
that one's in. That one is a body slam to Rob Cross. How good is that from Wade?
Well, it is another break of throw, but it might have broken Rob Cross in more ways than one. Wonderful check out from the machine after Cross had just missed a dart to
100.
make it 5-3. Wade completes the 156 check out to make it 6-2 and go within two of the title.
83.
You were talking earlier, Murph, about how young Max Hopp is
100.
and how long he's been around. It feels like forever. Well, with James, he was born in 1983.
100.
He's only 37. Considering everything he's done in the game, that's kind of silly, isn't it?
95.
He could genuinely have 15 more years in him.
Yeah, and he's one of those players who has just been at a certain level for
140.
so long. The amount of players you see have a 3, 4, maybe 5 good years and then disappear out of the rankings and end up sitting in places like
140.
commentary boxes next to me. But James Wade has just been there all the time. You could not imagine a top 16 without James Wade in it.
Not at all.
96.
I remember reading in a magazine about his Swiss Open win in 2002 when he was 19 years old. That was what started everything. Tops.
26.
Line was good.
Well, you've been saying all week, Paul, about not letting them get to within one leg of victory. Rob Cross needs to take this.
25 scored, yep.
He desperately wanted the bullseye there to have 2 shots. This is a must start.
62.
Just hasn't happened in the final. And the average has slipped under 100. But Wade doing characteristic wading, who has got the lesser average, but a gap of 5 legs. How does he do it?
The James Wade formula working again
42.
for the machine, who is on the brink now of picking up his first title of 2020. Not often a year goes by without James Wade's name being on the PDC Roll of Honour. And it looks like that day will come on day 4 of the inaugural Summer Series.
83.
I wonder if the Summer Series could become one of those sort of happy accidents like the Challengers concept in the Premier League, where it's been so successful that actually we start to see this kind of format happening again in the future.
I think that's very apt. It's the perfect way to set up for the World Match Play, in my opinion. A nice cluster of events. And that way, everybody who's in the reckoning has a fair crack at getting there. Previously,
140.
the last few seasons, it's been at European Tour events where contenders have not qualified. At least with this, everybody's going to be here. Well, Wade is looking to be the last man standing, with 86 separating him from the title. Just setting it up in true Wade style.
43.
But he has missed a big number. Doesn't matter, he'll come back for a 3 in tops next time round, and we'll more than likely wrap it up.
100.
Well, Crosser's left 99. He thinks the game is up. And double top wraps it up for James Wade. Cross hit the 9-darter in the semi-finals, but it is James Wade who crosses the line in the decider. Wade wins on day 4 at the Summer Series and picks up his first title of 2020.